Hi, this is Bailey Rosenshaw with Information Technology, and for part one of assignment 9, we were tasked with creating various tree maps as well as a heat map based upon voting expenditures for 2015-2016 of the presidential candidates. So here in our first tree map, um, we kind of distributed the candidates their expenditures within various states. So we can see that um, the highest spending candidate was Bernie Sanders, and then we can further develop that he spent most of his funds within Virginia, and then the second most was DC. We can see that DC was the most for Hillary Clinton, who was the second uh, most, I guess you could say, spendy candidate. And then her second most expenditures were found in New York. And then we can go to see the next was Ted Cruz, and then the next was Marco Rubio, and then Ben Carson, and so on, and then Donald Trump, and then so on and so forth. I found this this first tree map pretty interesting because we can see that a lot of the candidates focused a lot of their funds within Virginia. So there was a lot of fighting within Virginia, which does make sense. Um, but I also found this interesting that Donald Trump was ranked all the way back here, and well, we know he ended up uh, winning. Um, so it just shows that money isn't really everything. It definitely can help, but it really isn't everything. Um, so then we went and looked at the second tree map, which bases it upon state to start with. So Virginia was the most, like we could tell, and then DC, and then New York, and then looks like oh, no, it looks like Tennessee, and then Ohio. Either way, um, kind of curious to see where Colorado is right here, and then Hillary Clinton spent the most, and Trump second most. Okay, wonder if I'll be able to find South Dakota. Can't really tell. It looks like Hillary Clinton was the most in South Dakota. But interesting. That's very interesting. It's kind of cool how it separates all these different things. But like I said, we found that Virginia and DC definitely get the most funding throughout the candidates race, and it seems like Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton definitely were spending the most money. And then we start to look at the third one, which bases or it shows us what the candidates were spending on. As we can see here, media was significantly higher. Um, Media buy, so that must be. It looks a little different than the media category. I'm not sure the determination between the two, but this category is much greater, from 64 million to 20 million, so it's much greater. But obviously, media plays a huge part in the race, and that's kind of what people are going to be spending, or candidates are going to be spending their money on. And then the factors are kind of attributed the same. Bernie Sanders the most, Hillary Clinton second, and then Marco Rubio. But this graph wasn't very surprising to me. I felt like media was going to be at the forefront. And then we based it upon cities. So DC, obviously, Washington, and then I think Alexandria is in Virginia. I could be wrong, but um, those two have been the top kind of all the way around, and then Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, like we've seen over the same graphs. Um, and then we went and looked at the heat map, so based upon year, month, and the day. So basically, when, um, and then their distribution. I found this was kind of interesting to me. Um, that the what is this? January of 2016, the 4th. So January 4th of 2016 had most of the population. But I guess, anyways, overall, we can see that Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton spent the most during the race, and they obviously didn't win. Donald Trump did, so I found that kind of intriguing. And then also Virginia and Washington, D.C., or D.C. or whatever, have seen the most funding. So I found that pretty intriguing, and these graphs made that pretty evident. So this was quite interesting to me, and I found this to be very good information.